Welcome back to another episode of Long Island TV. I'm Kristen Jarnigan, and it's Women's History Month. So today we're celebrating the women of Long Island who have made such an incredible impact. And there are so many, from the suffrage movement to aviation to science, and some who've even been instrumental in saving our world-class attractions. So today, Lily and I are going to tell you a couple of their stories. Let's go check it out. We're standing inside the iconic Montauk Lighthouse, arguably the #1 attraction on Long Island. And today I'm lucky enough to have Greg, who is the erosion director here at the Lighthouse, to tell a really incredible story about a woman who was responsible for where we're standing today. There's a great story of Giorgina Reid, this 4'11" feisty woman
in high heel sneakers,
in her 60s, who kind of saved the lighthouse based on erosion. So why don't you tell me, what was she facing when she came here?
Well, first thing we'll do is we'll give credit to the early planners, because they knew what erosion was on this site in 1792, 1796. Okay, so they set the building 300 feet back from the edge, and it gave the project time. 1 foot a year, the land goes away like cotton candy in your mouth with storms. Okay, but then in 46. The Corps of Engineers comes in after World War II and builds an 840-foot seawall on the bottom, thinking that they were going to stave off the erosion, which was a failure. Okay, so the lighthouse stood alone with no help, and it was a grim future, and it was surmised that eventually this would topple into the sea.
So Giorgina Reid read an article in Dan's papers about Montauk possibly not surviving. And she had her own personal story of her own home in Rocky Point that she had saved from a huge storm and cliff erosion. And she thought, I think my solution can help Montauk Lighthouse.
The engineers had never seen an act like this. Okay, she is a textile designer and an artist by trade, the author of a successful book on photography, but she had a patent for her terrace method. And she knew what she was doing, but the Coast Guard and the engineers were saying, who is this woman who we'd never heard of, and what is she going to do?
Yeah, so Giorgina Reid had read about some ancient terrace system of planting reeds that could help, stop erosion. Yeah. And it stopped erosion in her Rocky Point home. So she said, I think I can do it here. She came out with her husband every week for 15 years and single-handedly saved this incredible lighthouse that is commissioned by George Washington, one of only 4 national landmarks that are lighthouses in the country, still today, and truly a Long Island treasure that is now here for future generations.
Giorgina had the heart of an elephant, and she could climb like a goat, and she could dig like a mole, like nobody's business, okay? And she put blinders on, and she began stabilizing, and then it took a few years, but then the Coast Guard looked and said, well, we got to help her out, and they gave some wave attack protection under her terraces, and that was the beginning of the greening of the embankment, because storms would come in and she would still stay green. We have 6, 7, 8, 9 hurricane strength rains a year, and we lose no sediment on this property. Okay, so that is telling. Slope angles stay the same year in and year out. The methodology in the book is all because of Giorgina's tenacity and her know-how. And being a non-engineer, which is a joke to me, she led the way and taught the engineers that this is most worthy. And in 2021, we have a $30.7 million seawall coming here, built by the Corps of Engineers and the DEC of the state of New York. So Giorgina planted the seed for the future here, and we are going to be in good shape for a long time.
Well, I love that, and I love that I'm sure Giorgina never imagined that her hard work would lead to more than 100,000 people from around the world that come to Montauk Lighthouse every year. I mean, it's truly the one attraction that everyone that comes to Long Island wants to see, the end, the famous Montauk Lighthouse. And so today, as we celebrate Women's History Month, we're excited to celebrate and share the story of Giorgina Reid. So thank you for helping me today.
And thank you all as well. Appreciate it.